Alright, now we're at stage 3, and we have to face off with that airship. This level is a two-part stage, and you have to go into these tubes and go to each area. The goal of this stage is to destroy the propellers that are cranked by the soldiers. I don't know. Once again, this enemy faction is using literal manpower for its vehicles and things. It's kind of funny. Anyway, the way these things work is if you go in each tube essentially in a different way, like if you go back into it, you'll go another way in. It's not as confusing once you realize how they work. But it is still essentially a pipe maze. And if I recall correctly, yes, there is a sword right there in this level. So just keep going through all the pipes in the different ways, and you'll eventually find the sword, like over that part. As I was saying, with this level, if you play this game on easy, you bypass this level, I believe, if I recall correctly. But I know it's to prevent you from getting the sword in this level, which means you can't get all the swords by the final level, essentially. The thing with this level is you have all these spike things after you. The best way to deal with them is just do a spin attack. And yeah, just dealing with that like that. There's not a whole lot to say about this part of the level, really. Other than, you gotta watch out for the propellers there. If you jump up into them, you'll get hit. There's not much to say other than just keep going through all the pipes and stuff. I like how they have a hammer defensive system there, in case... It's like they expect Sparkster to pop out of those holes. And I guess, is this the main way for the soldiers to get around the ship? Because it seems a very counterintuitive way to navigate an airship. At least the outside part, anyway. Whatever. So after you defeat the last propeller, it starts exploding. You just enter whatever nearby tube there is, and you go on to the next part of the stage. Which is in the partially destroyed airship that's auto-scrolling now. Oh, and because you destroyed the airship, the good old soldiers are now on fire. Much like the pigs that were on fire in the Rocket Knight Adventures running around. And you have these things. These things are annoying to deal with. The best way to deal with those eyeball things that shoot things at you is to just boost into them. And you have those things, in case you can tell, the obvious red spot means hit them there, dummy, kind of thing. Ooh, a fire sword, which I'll probably lose in like a second. Don't want to attack those directly like I'm doing here. It's not the best way to deal with those things. And yes, because this level's auto-scrolling, you'll die if you get... Whoa. Didn't expect to do that, but whatever. Because this level is auto-scrolling, you can die if you fall behind. So you have to keep moving. And because the ground's moving, but we're in the city, so I'm assuming we crash landed in the city, but in these things, the timing of them is always tricky. I always get too impatient, and I always get hit way too many times than I should have. The invulnerability frame time with these things is very small to a Sparkster, so don't be patient with those things, even though I panic slightly because it's auto-scrolling. It's like, oh, I gotta keep moving because if you get caught, you'll end up getting damaged anyway, so... There's more guys here. Oh good, apple, that's actually very handy. Ah! Go back, get the apple. Whew, there we go. Oh yeah, the spin attack is very useful against enemies that suddenly... What the... Where did you come from? Oh, shit. Well, that sucked. This time we'll do our best to avoid getting hit by suddenly appearing enemies that just popped out right there. Sheesh. That was a little unfair, but whatever. So yeah, now you can see a city in the background. That's going to be where the next stage is going to take place. So I'm guessing we crash landed here. That's my guess here, anyway, with this level. And we have several hanging platforms and stuff. Like I said earlier, this level is a little bit more open-ended. There's actually different paths you can take. Like down there was an apple I could have gotten, but eh. So the level design is actually pretty good in that regard, because, like I said, just a little bit more open than the first Rocket Knight Adventures. And oh, good, we got some full heal out of that. All right, now we face the boss in this Mode 7-esque sky, and it's this guy who shoots skull fire at you, and he alternates between being normal, large, and small little guys. And if you get hit by that skull thing, you become little tiny Sparkster sprite. And you can still, like, jump around with the jetpack kind of thing. But the objective is you have to hit that sparkling little guy, because that's like the main one or something. And I didn't mean to do a corkscrew there, but whatever, that worked. Or I'm spin attacking. The only thing is that not only does that do damage, but you can't attack it or anything while you're a tiny Sparkster, so it's a little annoying. I kind of like how you can zip around though without even seeing a jetpack effect though. And I wish I could. Whoa! Oh yeah, he throws shit at you, and once again, there's apples, which I didn't get any, but still, come on, man. What's with all these bosses giving you health? I guess it makes things a bit more fair, but that's not to an enemy's nature to make a boss fight fair, you know? Whatever. The best way to deal with those attacks is I just try to rocket up into a corner to avoid all of them. And, Great, now I'm almost dead. The thing with this boss is, when he's all bunched up like that, there's two forms of him when he's all tiny little guys. Sometimes they'll just bum rush you and then they'll do damage like they did earlier. Other times you gotta wait for him to do this. And then once you see the little guy hop around, there he is. You just attack him and he becomes a smallish little guy. Which is this form is susceptible to damage. So you just the best way I do is I just rocket into him when he's jumping up and down like that around the corners. And you just keep this powering up until he dies. Of course, easier said than done because I only have half a heart left, and if I get hit one more time, yep, I'm dead. Let's try that again. So we just keep doing that. You can hit him with the sword too if you're quick enough, but he's a fast little bugger, so it's best to just rocket into him like I do here. At least that's how I do it. And avoid his skull fires, whatever, his skull jitsu spell, whatever it is. And then he hulks out, and then he splits off into little guys. It's a pretty diverse boss, I'll give it that. It's just a little bit annoying to deal with. It's mostly just avoiding all of his projectiles is the annoying part. Because if you become Tiny Sparkster, it's like you can't do shit and you gotta wait and you gotta avoid everything. And you can't move around that much as Tiny Sparkster either. Alright, any day now. It's mostly just a waiting and avoid kind of boss. So it's just, eh. Doing corkscrews will help because he'll do much more damage. And he is dead. And he freaks out and can't control his size things. And he explodes into lots of little dudes. Well, the little dudes all explode. And with that, we clear stage 3. Okay, the next stage, we're back in our robot mech. This time we're just barreling right through the city, going head on into the enemy forces pretty much. Here you can move left and right, and you control a fist, rocket fist. You have to deal with all these guys. Normally I'm alright here, but for some reason I had a lot of difficulty hitting these guys. It's probably because I was too hasty. It's best to be careful and aim and then hit, rather than just keep firing, because you have a bit of a delay waiting for the fist to come back. So yeah, if you just keep mashing away at the attack button to throw your fist, it leaves you very open, and you get hit a lot like I do here. And then you have these things. The worst is when they get up close, because they actually get more difficult when they're up close to hit you. And after that, we actually move the perspective down. They move the perspective down, and you have to jump to attack these guys with these. It looks kind of funny to me. It's like these giant, elegant ballerina leaps from this robot. And for some reason, just touching it with our toes just damages it. Of course, now I'm almost dead, and you can probably see where this is going to lead to. But we shall keep doing our giant robot ballerina leaps, and continuing to hit this robot thing that spews firebombs at us. That's another one taken care of. I don't know what's up with the sound of the... Yeah, and the funny thing is, if you die, you can still control the robot for a little while. Like if Sparkster's in control, then who's controlling him while he's dead? You know? Whatever. So this time I'm doing a little bit better this time. And that fuel canister, it heals you. It heals the robot, which is always good. You don't want to hit it with your fist, because that's very bad, especially if you have low health. Yeah, at this point they're just throwing all sorts of balloon soldiers and stuff at you. I believe the fuel canisters restore about half your health, if I remember correctly. But they give you at least 2 here, so you know, as long as your aim and timing is decent, you should be fine. Unless they keep ganging up on you like here. But yeah, luckily if you just get them all at once, it's usually pretty good. Okay, we've taken care of those guys. And that's just telling us that the next part of the stage is up. And look, there's Axel in distance, and he's shooting shit at us. Lovely. What you want to do here is you can actually punch those back. You have to wait for them to be fully solid, or fully purple in that case. Well, not really solid, just like while they're really close to you. And then when he moves back, you just move forward to avoid those projectiles. And you just keep that powering up until he's pretty much just done. Because the goal is you're actually supposed to hit those back when he's in this part of the level. See, there we go, we're getting them. Yeah, this stage is really all just about timing and aiming, really. It's kind of cool, I guess, to be able to just run through the robot and stuff with the city. It's a nice little diversion from the main part of the game, really. You know, the Rocket Knight Adventure games do a nice job of level variety. So. Okay, that deals with him, and once the robot smash! Okay, now we have another fight with Axel, and it's pretty much just like the fight in the beginning. One thing I forgot to mention in the beginning, I can't block, wow, I am failing at blocking there. I swear I was pressing the button, but for some reason it didn't bring up half the time. Great, I'm almost dead already. Yeah, it's the same fight as before, except now you have your health bar, and each hit he does takes away a heart, so be very careful. One thing I forgot to mention is, if you die, if you lose to Axel in that, it'll just, in the beginning, and in the intro, you pretty much just go to the title screen and begin the game from there. That's why I said you pretty much have to restart it. I died. Lovely. That's why I pretty much said you had to restart if you want to get the sword, because you do want the swords to get the full ending, pretty much. Or to get to complete the game. And there we go. Once a dick, always a dick. Of course, we're not done with him just yet. And that's the end of stage 4. And the next stage is actually the last regular stage, I believe. This game is actually pretty short in terms of number of stages, but still has pretty long stages. So we'll see you then.